That's like the biggest welcome to Indo, that island.
Palm trees, a white sandy beach.
You're kidding me, that's beautiful.
Cute little beach huts.
Welcome to the Indian Ocean! Woo!
I'm Benita, that's Yosh, and this is our daughter Tallulah May. We are a family of 3 that are sailing around the world on our 40-foot sailboat. Currently, we are at sea on our biggest journey yet as parents as we sail from Malaysia to our clearance port of Padang in West Sumatra, Indonesia.
Man, there's so many ships, eh? We've had to, because of the angle that we're cutting across from Langkawi to get to the top of Sumatra. Sumatra coastline, we need to travel along for like 100 miles. Along that coastline, it's where all the ships travel too. And we're all running basically in the same direction. We're trying to get across it. It's been all night, we've just been dodging ships. Man, now with the sun up in the morning, definitely gets the sphincter pulsating when you see how big they are. At night time at least you just see their lights and you can't make out the ship at all, but you can see their lights so you understand them. But in daylight, it just looks scary as. See, like this dude looks super close, but it's not like I have anywhere to go because old mate over here is just squishing me in as well. Another 50 miles until we're to the very top of Sumatra, but hopefully another 10 miles. Just got to get a bit more southwest and we should be out of all of this. Fingers crossed.
The first thing you notice when you go to a new country is the fishing boats. They all look different, and Indonesia is no exception. Indonesia especially, because different islands, every island have their own different kind of boat. So here comes one charging out now. This is what the little Indo fisherman boat around Banda Aceh look like.
It was all good this morning when the seas were nice and flat and we were motoring and we picked up that current. But now that this northwest is finally blowing, wind against current, it's just instantly piped up these short, steep little waves. So the forecast is pretty well spot on, eh? Just expect a 15 knot northwest on Tuesday afternoon. Alright, we'll be in there by then. Out of Malaysia, welcome to the wild west of Sumatra. Woo-hoo.
A little bit rough, a little bit rolly, but we've got through the worst part of it and we've just tucked ourselves in a bit closer to land. We're a couple of nautical miles offshore. We're just kind of creeping in to find some nice smooth water. Our problem is that we need to get up around the headland to an anchorage and through the cut. This wind is forecasted to continue and to pick up over the following days. So despite it being rough today, this is probably the calmest it's going to be because it's going to continue to keep blowing and building. So we kind of want to try to get around that headland today before we get stuck on this side. We made it to Indonesia. This area is called Banda Aceh. This island up ahead is called Sabang.
are still in bed. Well, Benita's trying to sleep. The alarm clock woke up pretty early this morning. We had a big couple of days passage to get here, and yesterday was definitely a bit of a hard slog with this upwind. 15 to 20s the whole time. It was just real short, choppy seas, struggling to make leeway. But we got in here and dropped anchor pretty early, pretty late-ish, like 11 p.m. Just sneaking into this big bay. Anchored in 9 metres, still like 100 metres offshore. I wanted to stay quite a bit offshore just because of not sure how we're going to be received by people around here, because I know during initial COVID people kind of got moved on when they tried to anchor in here. People came out kind of yelling and screaming, but I've seen a few fishers this morning already, and they give me a wave and they're like, yeah, like giving the direction of like, where you going? And I'm like, I'm out of here, mate. And they're like, give you a little nod of approval. We're just around the corner from the cut. We got the first cut, that real skinny one here, Araya cut, and the other one's Araya, which is a bit wider, and we'll go through that one. That's Uncle gave us these directions a couple of years ago when we first come through here, and you know, they worked well. And it's all about timing it with the current, and the wind's forecast to only continually pick up today and for the following days, so it's already blowing 10-15 from the southwest, so that's pretty much smack bang on the nose to get through these cuts. So we just try to smack into it 7 o'clock in the morning first thing. Let's go do a bit of get a bit of excitement into your day. So look at that big fishing boat that's anchored in the corner there. He's kind of hanging this way, which suggests the current's against us, but we're doing 3.5 knots on the same RPM. We've still got like 1300 RPM, so we're only going slow as it is. We're doing 3.5 knots. We're doing 4.5 before, so it's about 1 knot against this current. So we can just keep chugging. I'll keep hugging this land around the edge of the island. It's nice and smooth at least, you know, and that wind isn't so boisterous in here either. A dramatic change of events. What? We've just picked up 2 knots of speed.
Wow. We're definitely out in the Indian Ocean now. I can feel the swell rolling through. It's been a very long time since we've dealt with swell. Yosh is very excited because more swell means waves. It's going to be a very fun time kicking along this coastline and all through these islands here. So we're in Indonesia. Indonesia is made up of 17,000 islands. The ones that we're going to have some of the best waves in the world. Yosh is a very happy man. If you're enjoying the video, hit that subscribe button and give us a like as well. It helps feed that YouTube algorithm and gets our videos shown to more people. So cheers, legends. Baby's asleep.
Gotta make the most of it when Bubs is asleep. We're sitting up on the bow, just relishing. This is what it's all about.
Yeah, this is it here.
We ain't going to Australia, we're keeping on going.
Yeah,
That's it.
I think this has just sealed the deal, hasn't it?
This has sealed the deal.
But I think we might, if we are going to continue sailing around the world, we are going to need crew to help us on passages, I think, on the big passages.
Definitely, because Tallulah, like when we were stuck for 9 days with the prop issue out at sea, it was easy. Baby was put her there and she stays there.
But she was 4 months old, so we can sail for 9 days with a 4-month-old.
Yeah.
And yesterday, she needs a lot more attention. She's a lot busier now, and she's gonna continue to evolve and need different types of attention. Fishing is so different everywhere you go, and yeah, I'm not sure what kind of fish they're trying to catch, but these are very popular throughout Indonesia, especially on the west coast of Sumatra. There's a freaking cicada on the nav table. I don't know how it got on the boat. I'm not really scared of insects, but those ones scare me because they have sticky legs, and if they get on you, then they kind of get stuck on you and you can't get them off, and you're like, ah! And they're like, ah!
was probably 10 times harder than what it actually needed to be. Wasn't expecting to have any traffic, you know. As we made our way south from the top of Sumatra, we didn't see anything. We passed all the fishing boats, we came out of the shelf, didn't see anyone. But as soon as the sun goes down, of course there's activity everywhere. In a way, it was a good sign seeing other vessels out in fishing boats that far offshore in the night, because we are in raw open ocean off of the shelf 30 miles offshore, and there's like 15-foot punt sitting out there fishing. So I guess the fishers have a better idea of the weather in the area where we are, so if you see them out there, you know you're pretty well in for a good night. Just made a little bit too difficult with the lighting of all of these vessels, because there's no rules, man, no rules. We're finally down in the lee of Simalu. That's Simalu Island. Out starboard there off on the horizon. You can see the land of Sumatra over here on port now as well. So all of that groundswell is now blocked by Simalu. So it's just like a lake out here. We just motored all night because there's no wind. I put a second reef in the main just because we were motoring, and I still like to keep the main up because it does keep a bit of balance about us when we're moving. It does give you a little bit of an extra boost, but I didn't want to keep a full main up just because of that 40-knot squall we had the night before. And then if we did get a really strong squall, it's going to be insignificant and we can just sail under a second reef in 40 knots, no worries. Good morning, how you going? Let's go sailing. That's what Tallulah said. Hey Mum, you gotta come see this. This is next level.
Wow. Gary.
Oh, Gary.
When the sea hits the sky like a big pizza pie, that's the Gary. When the water's like glass, you can motor real fast, it's the Gary. It's a Gary!
It's a Gary! Just having a little morning sunbathe, guys. I think they're pilot whales, aren't they? They got little top dorsal fins. Yeah, they got no nose. I think they're all pilot whales.
I've never seen those animals before. I don't know what that is, but like they're not dolphins and they're quite small.
We have steadily been making ground for the past 7 days towards our clearance port of Padang, Indonesia. Even though since rounding the northern tip of Sumatra we were blessed with calm cruisy conditions, we are both beginning to feel the fatigue of keeping the boat moving around the clock whilst also taking care of Tallulah. This 1,000 nautical mile journey has been our biggest passage sailing as a family yet, and it definitely has its new challenges. But we are feeling very thankful to be out exploring once again. After our third calm night at sea, the final 100 nautical miles was some fun sailing with consistent winds forward of the beam. Sailing upwind, Nandji performs better as a cutter with all the sails up. We happily made ground towards a good night's rest.
to our quarantine. Coming in.
You know you got your jocks inside out.
No one noticed. Oh my gosh.
I need myself in the nose.
Some kind of acrobatic shit.
Gotta be careful in quarantine.
Gosh.